Hello there, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Criterion, your exclusive channel featuring new and forthcoming titles in the collection. In this edition, we feature a Criterion Premiere release, and that's Alain Guiraudie's 2024 film Miscericordia. Criterion Premieres is a selection of new theatrical films presented on Blu-ray and DVD. They're released in association with the Criterion Channel, and we'll be taking a look at Alain Guiraudie's 2024 film Miscericordia in this edition. It examines the suspicions, secrets and desires ensnaring the inhabitants of a quiet French village in this tantalising black comedy thriller. Alain Guiraudie is an openly gay film director, and he's mostly known for his gay erotic thriller Stranger by the Lake from 2013. He also directs mostly LGBT-related films. His 2024 film Miscericordia is billed as a black comedy, and it stars Félix Cuissil as Jérémy Pastor, who returns to his hometown of Saint-Martial to attend his former boss's funeral. Now, he receives a rather hostile welcome, though, from his boss's son, Vincent Rigal, played in the film by Jean-Baptiste Durand, who accuses him of returning not just for the funeral, but for having the ulterior motive of wanting to sleep with his mother, the widow, Martine Rigal, played in the film by Catherine Fro. Her son, Vincent, acts cordially towards Jérémy at first, but there is a frostiness and an awkwardness between the two men that bubbles away in the background. In these earlier exchanges, Miscericordia is a marvel, a methodical, precise-paced film that hints at a darker edge simmering beneath this seemingly mundane French suburbia. Guiraudie unravels the plot and the characters well, giving us little snippets, just enough to keep us hooked. Now, Martine wants him to take over her late husband's bakery and remain in the village, but there are memories there for Jérémy, including a slight attraction to Vincent's friend, an older man called Walter Bonchon, played by David Alial. Now, this infatuation comes out when Jérémy gets drunk on pastis. Now, pastis is an aniseed drink similar to Pernod, very popular in that region as an aperitif. The aforementioned tension between Jérémy and Vincent, which has an indisputable homoerotic layer to it, eventually explodes in a violent showdown in the secluded woods, and it is a moment where both Jérémy as a person and Miscericordia as a film lose control. Now, right from the start, Alain has established a tension with the behaviour of the townspeople, and especially the local priest, who keeps popping up at moments of extreme conflict between Vincent and Jérémy. But again, we find out through a strange reverse confession scene that he is actually on Jérémy's side. Now, there is a search for Vincent, who apparently has disappeared mysteriously, and the local gendarmerie have also rather direct ways of questioning their suspects. And that includes the senior gendarme turning up in Jérémy's bedroom quite early on in the morning to interrogate him. Was it real, though, or just a dream? Now, principal photography on the film began on the 30th of October 2023, and it wrapped on the 15th of December of that year. The film was shot in southern Aveyron, along the border of the Gare, and the village of Sauchelière was used as the location of the film's fictional Saint-Martial setting. Now, the film was also shot in the nearby villages of Melau, of course featured in the film, Nantes, and Saint-Jean-de-Bruel. Now, other scenery includes the Dorby Gorge, the Mont Aiguille forest, and the Suquet Ridge. Clermont served as the director of photography on the film, after having worked on the cinematography for Guiraudie's earlier features, Stranger by the Lake and Staying Vertical. Miscericordia was selected to be screened in the non-competitive Cannes Premiere section of the festival back in May of 2024, and Sideshow and Janus Films acquired international sales for this film through Les Films du Solange. It was named the best film of the year by the French film magazine Cahiers du Cinéma. Now, for me, it's really a bit of a stretch to think the village has so many bi-curious inhabitants. Perhaps the fanciful thinking there from its director, with Jérémy having designs on Walter, who appears to be actually thinking about it, even after he had banished him violently from his home with a shotgun after his sexual advance towards him, seeing him off, partially dressed. And then we've got the local priest, Abbé Philippe Guisseul, also bi-curious, played by Jacques Develay, who has designs himself on Jérémy. A tall order, I would say. However, the film does yield a few surprising moments, but largely it plays out with relatively nothing stunning happening and a rather predictable denouement. Now, the black comedy here is clearly dependent on how the viewer interprets this style of black comedy. I can see where it can be construed as such, but sadly for me, a lot of it didn't hit home, as maybe the director had intended it to. You don't dislike the film, but the emotional distancing in it doesn't make you particularly sympathetic to Jérémy's character. Now, Miscericordia translates from Latin into mercy or compassion. As Alain Guiraudie's alluring but ultimately flawed feature goes on, there are actually hints at tackling this title's meaning and all of the complexities that the plot's specific situation produces. But all too often, sadly, they get lost in translation with odd directorial choices and stilted characters. Rather than turning to intricacy in the film, the complexity veers more awkwardly into confusion. Miscericordia certainly doesn't lack intrigue, but there is little more to gain from the film than the intrigue. Amid the evocatively earthy milieu, Guiraudie constructs a slippery, continuously surprising moral universe where love and hatred, eroticism and violence, spiritual grace and mortal sin are intimately entwined. Now, Miscericordia has a running time of 103 minutes. It's, of course, in French and comes with an aspect ratio of 235:1. Now, I've noticed on the Criterion website that all of the previously listed Janus contemporary titles have now been recategorised as Criterion Premieres. Like this particular title has a Meet the Filmmakers feature with an interview with the director, Alain Guiraudie, a Criterion Channel original interview, and a trailer for the film itself. On Let's Talk Criterion, we'll be taking a look at Flow, the animated feature about a cat who experiences a flood and goes on an adventure with some rather strange animals. It's coming to the collection on 4K UHD. So, as always, until next time, from me, it's goodbye, and above all, good Criterion viewing.